After much dilly-dallying, which saw the scheduled lower house session deferred 3 times, the much-debated bill on the Washington-funded Millennium Challenge Corporation is all set to be tabled at the Parliament today. The MCC conundrum has been more or less a catch-22 situation of Nepali politics, where the ruling parties feel compelled to bow down to the pressure from the Washington, despite all the public sentiments against the multi-million-dollar agreement. Good morning, I am Bipashna Tamang and these are the headlines of the hour. Government to present the MCC Nepal Compact at today's Parliament session. Prime Minister's effort to seek consensus fails to produce results. Opposition UML lacking clarity on the compact. Election Commission prepares schedule for the upcoming local elections. Janak Education Material Centre makes preparations to print ballot papers. US President Joe Biden warns that a Russian attack on Ukraine remains very much a possibility. Russian Defense Minister says some forces have withdrawn from the border with Ukraine. And league leaders Machandra taking on Sadavata Youth Club in today's Martyrs Memorial A Division League. A win today will give Machandra back-to-back league titles. The parliamentary party meeting of Nepali Congress that leads the ruling alliance has urged the government to table the MCC bill at the parliament. However, CPN Maoist Centre and CPN Unified Socialist of the ruling alliance and even main opposition CPN UML have yet to clarify their stand. The opposition has meanwhile stated its obstruction will continue at the parliament. Nepali Congress President and Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba has said he has informed Speaker Agni Sapkota that the MCC Nepal Compact will enter the parliamentary process at the session called for today. Meanwhile, at a meeting held in Baluatar yesterday, CPN Maoist Centre Chair Pushpa Kamal Dahal and CPN Unified Socialist Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal urged Premier Deuba to push the parliament session, further citing the need for more time to find a consensus among the top political parties. Meanwhile, the main opposition CPN UML, which has adopted a wait-and-watch strategy, has hinted at proposing for amendment in case parties of the ruling alliance agree to table the agreement. The opposition also said it was preparing to help ratify the compact if it is amended and that they would protest if the bill was not amended. All eyes are on the Parliament as the government is mulling over tabling the widely controversial MCC Nepal Compact at the House of Representatives for its ratification. A session of the lower house has been called for today and the fate of the much-debated US-funded program now awaits a headway. The MCC bill has been stranded for over 2 years since it was first registered at the Parliament back in 2019. The government requires an approval from the Speaker for the agreement to enter parliamentary discussions. Once the bill is tabled at the Parliament, lawmakers of the House of Representatives will have 120 hours and lawmakers of the National Assembly 72 hours to request for an amendment. The Parliament will then enter discussions on the bill. In general practice, amendments on bilateral treaties and agreements are considered applicable only in cases that the two sides deem necessary in order to add or change clauses. The bill has remained stranded as even parties of the ruling alliance are yet to find a consensus. However, Nepali Congress that leads the ruling alliance has expressed confidence that the bill will finally move forward. The parliament session can forward the bill to parliamentary committee for further discussions if required. The Speaker will then announce a decision after the committee completes discussion. However, unlike other bills that require endorsement from the President after an approval from the Parliament, the MCC agreement will instead directly be published in the National Gazette and concerned ministries will be directed to begin its implementation. The Election Commission has begun preparations to register political parties from tomorrow and publish the election schedule on the 17th of April for the upcoming local elections. The Commission has estimated the time period for works like distribution of voters' cards, candidate nomination and silence period, speculating that the finalization of voters' list and printing of the ballot papers will consume the most time. Based on the preparations of the Commission, political parties will need to register themselves between the 17th to the 27th of February. Parties will receive approval on the 10th of March. Likewise, the final list of voters, finalization of voting centers and allocation of election officers is expected to be performed on the 27th of March. The appointment of the election officers will take place on the 12th April and the election program on the 17th of April. The Office of Election Officers of all 753 local levels will be established on the 21st of April. Printing of ballot papers is expected to take the longest time between the 27th of March to the 28th of April. The Commission has allocated between 24th to 30th of April for candidate nomination, protest vote and the publishing the final list of candidates. Candidates will have between the 1st to the 11th of May for their election campaign. Their distribution of voters' ID will take place on the 11th of May. The silence period will begin 48 hours prior to voting, during which parties will be prohibited from carrying out promotional campaigns and activities to influence the voters. As per the Commission's internal schedule, voting is expected to take place between 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the 13th of May. The Commission has prepared work schedules for 68 different tasks, which does not include the schedule for procurement of essential items. Experts have warned of the probability of financial irregularities in case the procurement period is shortened. Janak Education Material Center, that has been printing election materials for the past 43 years, has begun preparations to print ballot papers and documents for voters' awareness once again, as the Election Commission has announced the dates for next local level elections. The center will print 20 million ballot papers for the upcoming elections. The center has prepared 8 high-tech machines to print the ballot papers. In the previous elections, the center had printed 30 million ballot papers in around 3 weeks. According to the Election Commission, around 20 million ballot papers will be required for voting in 6,743 wards of 753 local levels. The cost for each ballot paper was 4 rupees in the previous election, which the Commission has said will increase this time around. Janak Education Material Center was established in 1978 and has 18 printing machines, 500 staff, and has been printing government documents and school textbooks. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked in several provinces what they think of the provincial government's performance so far. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice. नेताहरू थन्क्याउने मात्रै काम भइरहेको छ.
जनताको इच्छा चाहना अनुसार काम गर्न नसकेको देखिन्छ.
युवा मैत्री कार्यक्रमहरू सञ्चालन गर्न नसकेको,
कुनै पनि किसिमको कामहरुमा सबल देखिएन.
कुर्सी तानातानमा नेताहरू व्यस्त हुनुहुन्छ.
आफ्नै स्वार्थ हेर्ने, आफ्नै कुर्सी हेर्ने.
खानेपानीको अलि असुविधा थियो, त्यो चाहिँ खानेपानी भयो.
जनतामा प्रदेश सरकारप्रति पूर्ण रूपमा अविश्वास छ.
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what should be done to revive the tourism sector, which was severely hit by the coronavirus pandemic? The options are: option A, promote domestic tourism; option B, declare relief measures; and option C, develop infrastructures. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
League leaders Machindra Club are taking on Sadabato Youth Club in today's match under Martyrs Memorial A Division League. A win today will propel defending champions Machindra to their back-to-back A Division title wins. The match at Dashrath Stadium is scheduled to kick off at 1 p.m. The win will give Machindra their second title, 2 matches ahead of the completion of the league. Machindra have 26 points from 10 matches. The second-placed Manang Marshangdi trail behind with 20 points. A win will give Machindra 29 points, while Manang can also finish with 29 points if they win rest of their 3 matches. In such a scenario, title will be decided on head-to-head count, which again favors Machindra, who had earlier earlier defeated Manang 1-0. The match today is also seen as a contest between A Division champions and B Division champions, as Satabato were promoted this season after they won the B Division League last season. Satabato in their debut season have emerged as giant killers, knocking off top sides in their ongoing league. Satabato are in their 6th position with 15 points. A win or draw by Satabato will, however, brighten up Manang's chances of lifting the title. Meanwhile, Tribhuvan Army Club will take on Himalayan Sherpa at the same time, 1 p.m. at Anfa Ground. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.